of the finest quality wooden dummies. This video was put together to show you our unique construction process and to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how a Shaolin House wooden dummy is actually created. After you've watched the video, please feel free to visit us on the web at shaolinhouse.com. We hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Preparing the wood. Every board that comes into the workshop will ultimately end up being planed down to ensure that the surface is totally smooth, flat, and free of defects. When laminating wood together, the lamination results can only be as good as the original surface that you started with. And this is why we plane down all of our boards to make sure that we have a totally smooth finish. Making the cuts. Once the wood has been prepared and a particular dummy model has been selected, we then begin to make all the necessary cuts required to construct the dummy. After the cuts have been made, we lay them aside until the lamination process begins. The lamination process. This part of our dummy construction is what really sets Shaolin House apart from the competition. Instead of relying solely on hand clamps to clamp our dummies together with, we use a vacuum press table. And by doing this, we're able to apply an even amount of pressure to the entire surface area that's being clamped together. The results are absolutely perfect. Our vacuum press table applies over 1,700 pounds of pressure per square foot to the surface area and ensures that we're getting one of the absolute best bonds possible. This is especially important to us because we use a lot of different pieces in the construction of our dummies. In fact, they kind of resemble a gigantic jigsaw that seamlessly fits together. And due to this engineering design, our dummies are stronger and can take a lot more abuse without the fear of them developing a major crack or breaking. In fact, our dummies are so strong that they come with a lifetime guarantee on the body. This is the last phase of the lamination process. After the dummy is allowed to sit and dry thoroughly for several days, it's then taken over to the lathe and shaped into what will finally become the wooden dummy body. Turning the body. At Shaolin House, we still believe that the best products are those that are truly handmade, which is why we intentionally turn every body by hand rather than using a lathe duplicator. By doing it in this fashion, we ensure that each dummy is totally unique and can truly be called a one-of-a-kind piece. Making the arms. In order to begin the construction process of a wooden dummy arm, we first have to start out with a piece of stock that is approximately 2 feet long by 3 inches thick. The next step is to cut the hardwood down into the shape of an octagon. Once we have this basic shape, we can then put it on the lathe and start turning it into an actual dummy arm. It's at this point where it actually begins to take shape. Once all of the tapering has been finished and the arms all match each other, we then begin to sand them down to ensure that we have a totally smooth finish. Now it's time to cut the arm tendon. This is the part that will be inserted through the wooden dummy body. Shaolin House arm designs are very unique in the industry because we build all of our arms with offset tendons. Simply stated, this allows you to adjust your dummy's arms so that they are either level or offset depending on your own unique training needs. And in order to do this, all you have to do is simply rotate an arm 180 degrees. It's that simple. Building the leg. We realize that the leg on a wooden dummy can take a lot of abuse, which is why we chose to design ours with a proprietary lamination process that involves 8 different pieces of wood. By building the leg this way, and using the vacuum table press to glue it all together, we've created what we believe to be one of the best, strongest legs in the industry. After the leg has been assembled, we then sand off all the corners and round off all of the edges to make sure that it's perfect for training. Our legs are so smooth, you can even train on them without wearing shoes. The sanding process. Most of the sanding on a Wing Chun body is done on the actual lathe. We go back and forth with varying grits of sandpaper, constantly increasing them until we reach the desired finish. After the holes have been created in the dummy body, we then use a rasp file to ensure that the channels are totally free of wood or any glue that may be left over from the lamination process. Once the holes are filed down totally smooth, we then begin the sanding process again on the wooden dummy body. In fact, the dummy body will be sanded 2 more times to ensure that it's totally smooth and free of defects. At this point, we also sand down the frames or the base depending on the model that's selected. In order to save time, most of this sanding is done using an automated drum sander that ensures that each surface is totally smooth and ready for the finishing stage. Here you can see the dummy being checked for the correct fit and to ensure that it has just the right amount of play in the arms. Staining and finishing. This is the final stage of the dummy's journey through our shop, and it's also the most exciting one because it's at this point that the dummy takes on its own identity and becomes truly unique. We begin this process by using top quality hand-rubbed lacquer stains and apply them to the dummy. After the dummy has received its color and is allowed to dry, we then apply a beautiful industrial strength clear coat that's going to serve as the dummy's ultimate armor. It's at this point that we can finally call it a Shaolin House wooden dummy. Thanks for watching. And please remember, visit us online at www.shaolinhouse.com.